The structural mismatch. At the heart of modern physics lies a structural mismatch. General relativity treats spacetime as dynamic, a smooth geometry, bending and shifting in response to energy and momentum. Quantum mechanics, in contrast, assumes spacetime is fixed, a silent stage on which probabilities play out. These two pictures are not just different, they are in conflict. And that conflict is not a minor technical wrinkle. It is a symptom of something deeper, that both theories are incomplete. They each capture parts of reality, but neither reaches the foundation. If we want to move forward, we must stop treating spacetime as a given. If spacetime is what needs explaining, then it cannot also be the stage of the explanation. So what remains if spacetime, laws, and even objects are not fundamental, but emergent? The only thing that remains is change. The most basic observation we can make about reality is that it changes. Every stone, every star, every thought, every number, all of it participates in becoming. Nothing is exempt. But what is change? Change is not an abstract difference floating in the void. Change is difference from what was before. It is self-referential, a thing departing from its own prior state. To say something has changed is to say it is no longer what it just was. Without change, there is no difference, no before, no after, no structure, no reality at all. Existence, whether physical like mass and particles, or abstract like numbers and logic, they all depend on difference. But difference itself, it requires change. Without it, there's no mechanism to generate difference. There's no time, no space, no being. Change is not an outcome of existence. It is the precondition. Change is not something that happens to reality. Change is reality happening. And with the first hint of change comes the first structure, causality. To notice change is to notice that one state has become another. That transition is not random noise. The after is linked to the before. Something in the present carries the trace of what has just passed. That link, that tether, is causality in its most primitive form. The tether is not optional. A universe without causality is a universe where events fail to connect, where differences flash and vanish without leaving influence. Such a world could never stabilize, it could never evolve, it could never generate order. Which is to say that every universe, it must carry within it the maximum rate of change, a fundamental limit on how quickly difference can appear. And if there's a maximum rate of change, there must also be a minimum interval in which change can appear, the smallest distinguishable moment, a finite duration below which no difference can be made. But a moment, it can't just be temporal. An isolated instant of time is meaningless, it's empty. What makes a moment real is that it carries a difference of form. The minimum unit of change is never purely temporal. It is always joined with spatiality. A moment is always both temporal and spatial, a duration-carrying form. This is where physics must begin. Not with space-time, not with particles, but with the recognition that everything is changing. That change is the precondition for difference. That difference is the precondition for information. And that information is the precondition for existence.